Well, I don't know if it's morning or afternoon, whichever it is, but it's Friday the 13th. And I'm here because of last night at the board meeting. Um, I was asked some questions, and I was quote unquote unprepared because I hadn't been asked. I had no idea because I had looked at the agenda that had been submitted to the public, and nowhere in there was there any mention or talk or about having a Q&A on a petition. So I went there as a citizen like everybody else, just to sit down and observe. The I was kind of shocked at the direction it took pretty quick. But hey, it is what it is, right? They asked their questions. I bit my tongue. There were a few things I wanted to say that I didn't say because there's time constraints at those meetings. Now, with everything that was said last night at that meeting, there is only one individual that I would, and it's not that I'm playing favoritism, it's there is one board member who has reached out to me, spoke with me, met with me, conversated with me, asked me questions, and I back and forth. Dialogue is there, it's open. I have nothing to hide. I don't. There are times we're looking for the same thing and we can't find it. So what I would like to do is, I don't have a script. I have this thing where I go to bed and I have a notebook with a pen next to the bed. Now usually that's because if you're dreaming or something like that and you want to be able to remember your dream, or it's just a habit I got into, especially when I was out at sea. It was a way of remembering what I forgot. I know it sounds funny, but anyhow. So it's a habit of mine. And because I wake up and I don't have any thoughts just yet. So everything that's kind of like getting ready for the day is boom, 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 boom. It's like whatever. It's like bringing in wood, taking care of chickens, feeding the cats, litter box, whatever. But this morning when I woke up, I started scratching in the dark, on a piece of paper, and started going back thinking about what had happened, what transpired last night. And I'm not upset. I have no anger, animosity towards anybody. I don't. All I'm looking at is where we're at. The reason why the public is concerned, yes, there are some that are upset. Yes, there are some that are angry. I listen to different versions of expressions from different individuals. What I'm looking at is the fact that when I was asked last night, point blank, if I had any, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember every question that was asked, but paraphrasing, because there was 3 questions, to the best of my recollection, that were posed to me. One of those questions was if I had any proof. I find that a little redundant to ask me that question, because the reason why the petition was sent around is because there's an issue, there's a problem. And to get there and project at me that I am hypothetically creating an issue or creating a problem is a little it's hypocrisy. Because the only reason why this is all come to light, or like I said, the frogs in a frog in a boiling pot of water, is somebody turned the heat up too high and the frog jumped out. Well, the only reason why we're here right now, why I'm doing this, why I'm involved, why I've been asked to speak, is because there's a problem. The elephant in the room is a $3 million increase in taxes. So you're going to ask me for proof. What am I missing? The proof is right there. Yet they sit there and nobody wants to take blame. Nobody wants to take accountability for it. The previous board, the people upstairs, the people downstairs, the neighbor, the mill, the weather. No. Nobody else spends that money. Nobody else makes those decisions. The ones sitting behind that table are the ones that make that decision. That picture that I was looking at last night is the proof. You want a quote-unquote metaphorical smoking gun? The reason why you can't see it is because you're behind it. You're up to here with it. That's why you don't see it. That is the problem. You want proof? Look in the mirror. Simple. Because the rest of us not sitting on the other side of that table, we see it. Every one of those signatures on that petition, see it. So what is it that the board doesn't see? Just disgruntled, pay your fair share taxpayers? It's disheartening to think that, yes, you may be a town resident, you may pay taxes, you may live here, you may have a very long family lineage here, but for whatever reason, there's a disconnect when you sit on the other side of that table from the rest of the people in this community. And that is sad. It's disturbing. Because the vision that is a collective, from what I saw last night, there was a term used, an aggressive approach to bringing business to town. Aggressive. Do you know what's aggressive? Birdshot. Birdshot is unforgiving. Rather than precision and honing in on one thing at a time and thinking it through methodically, it's aggressive. Blew my mind. But I'm just one person sitting there listening. Aggressive. So aggressive. But what has it created? Hardship. Taxation without representation. And that is easy to prove because you as the board, increased our taxes by $3 million. And we have asked, maybe I'm saying it wrong, asked, whatever. We requested numerous times for the numbers. And you give us one sheet of paper. But when it came time to ramming this beautiful 3 mil increase, double-sided, colored presentation, some sugar to coat the pill that everyone was going to have to swallow. That's disgusting. It's uncalled for. To get there and listen to what we have for leadership, sitting there, blaming prior board members, prior this, take accountability for what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Go back and research. Are there other commitments? Are there other things that previous boards, people before you, have committed the town to? Be frugal with your budget. It's people's lives that you're playing with. It don't make no sense. And you want proof. Do you have any facts or proof that would show that the town manager has done something wrong? Really? And then to lean back in a chair and say, well, we're the ones that are responsible. We're the ones that tell him what to do. You know what a manager is supposed to do? That's the checks and balance. The manager comes back and tells you, I'm sorry, we can't do that because of this, and this, and we're going to be taking food and heating and this and that from the elderly and the people on a fixed income. We can't be doing this. Come back with better numbers. Nope, it's not like that. You're going to suck it out of your community. The people that you say you care about. The people you say you have the best interest. The people that you're saying that you want to beautify this community. You're killing the people. You're pushing them out. A bunch of frogs sitting on the edge of a pond and they can't see their nose because all they can see is behind them. It's a metaphor. You want to know why this town is dying? It's because we have a bunch of old mindset stuck in their way, unwilling to compromise. They want to spend like this is 1970 and 1960, 1980, when the money was good and we had 1,200 guys working at the mill. When we had a thing called Fraser Day, where the paper mill would actually have a day where they'd foot the bill for hot dogs, burgers, and I think there was even like, I don't know if it was bouncy houses back then, but like a carnival or some sort. Family fun day. Not anymore. The sound of laughter, the meaning of community, it's gone. Last night when I was sitting there and Dan Daigle stood up and he was going to say something and they had him sit back down for public, I don't remember, it was Article 4 or something. Anyhow, he did get back up and he made a reference and he pointed to the brown circle thing on the wall, an imprint of the paper mill. Now I have no invested interest whatsoever. I just know people that work at the paper mill. I don't know anything about it. I went through there in 7th grade, I think. It was a Mrs. Dow's class. Anyhow, my dad had brought me samples of the different stages of pulp. And I'd use a piece of plywood to show, like from the trees to whatever. It was a science project. Anyhow. But I'm looking at that emblem on the wall over their heads, behind them. And I'm thinking to myself, the only thing that ties us all together in this community, the only reason why this valley is the way it is and why it's still here, there's one constant factor that exists in this valley. And there's only 2 of them in the entire state now. 2. Do you know what that is? The paper mill. Now people are saying, oh, they need to pay their fair share, and oh, it was a technicality, and it was... No. No. Here's the thing. That is the biggest employer in the valley. Consistency, right? We want consistency. We want a consistent tax base. Why go after the only thing that's been consistent? My grandfathers worked there, my father worked there, my uncles worked there, cousins worked there, people I graduated from high school worked there, some of them, their children worked there. But we're going to get there and say that that is the great Satan. That there is the epitome of all evil. Corporate empire. Let's milk them for more because we want more money. And we don't know where to get it from, so let's just go after the mill, right? It blows them. Really? These guys are so disconnected. There's so much hatred and animosity being carried over. Look at it. Think of this. We just had a mill increase of 3, right? How many people that if you had a way to get there and ask for a tax abatement and go to court and win, that you would do it? So your property taxes wouldn't have to go up. If you were able to cut it from, like mine went up roughly $300. If I could go and get an abatement and only pay $150, I'd do it in a heartbeat. The problem is it's not over $1 million. So I can't use the actual court system for it. It goes to the county commissioner's office or administrator. It goes to the county level, and then they make a ruling, and good luck. Because they want just as much money as the town does here. They don't want to work for it, but they'll tax you for it. Because they're just creating jobs and giving people titles, and so nobody has to work. Same mentality that's here in town. We're going to create this job for that job, and that way I don't have to be in my office because I got 2 peons working for me. Or 1, or whatever. It's irrelevant. They wanted proof. You got to be pretty narrow-minded. I don't know if it's ignorance or arrogance. It's a fine line between the two to throw that out like that. So you want proof? It's there. The other part that was wrong is when they said, supposedly the letter from the attorney, I have it, I looked at it, and that supposedly it was asking for the resignation or to quote-unquote fire the financial director. Here's the reason why I put the wording the way that it was worded, or asked for it to be worded the way it was worded, is because how the system works is usually somebody doesn't want to take accountability or responsibility for anything. And when something is done wrong, they look for a fall person to throw under the bus, right? So rather than hold the town manager accountable for it. Guess who'd be the first person they'd try to throw under the bus? The finance director. So I was not asking, inquiring, or implying about having the the finance director to be fired or removed. No, it was suspended. Didn't say anything about her pay being taken from her, any of that, or benefits. No. Just do something else in the time being so that you don't get blamed for somebody else's lack of their ability to do their job, is what the bottom line was. So, that was why I asked for the suspension. Temporary suspension. Not termination. No, it was just that right there, period. So, the audit part of it, I was asking for an independent audit. Reason being is if we have the same auditor coming for the past, 20 years, doing the same job, monotony, repetitive, over and over and over, right? Well, what you need to do is you need to find another auditor to come in and look for discrepancies. That is why I asked for the past 2 fiscal years for an audit, is to look for the inconsistencies. See, because there's another community that ran into a similar situation to where they had the same auditor constantly doing their audits for them. But there was something missed, because when the question of, hey, the numbers are not working, it's not, something's not right. Let's do an independent audit separate from the status quo. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, there was money missing. There was embezzlement. But I guarantee you that the auditor that had been doing the work up to that point was saying, no, everything's fine. Hey, when you're talking about missing money, that's a serious claim, that's a serious accusation. Well, yeah, of course. They're not going to get there and admit that, we got a little complacent. I'm not saying they have. But when somebody is doing the books a certain way, constantly, they start to understand and learn how they can manipulate those numbers and present it the way they want it presented. So you have a third party come in and look at those same things, and that's where the questions come in. Whoa, why is this like this? Why is that like that? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Explain this, explain that. Oh, but they don't want that. They don't want that. Well, they asked me to tear up the petition, right? Thing is there's 2 petitions. We gave one to the board to mull over or to consider. We gave them a chance. We gave you guys a chance, the board, to listen to what the people had to say. And according to your own attorney's legal opinion, or advisement, or however terminology you want to use, and there he even states that you could temporarily still pay, but temporarily remove or suspend the town manager while you do an investigation. But no, there's no proof that he's done anything wrong. No. The $3 million, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Shut up, people. Sit down. Wait till next year. We'll give you something really, then you guys really have something to complain about. But there's not going to be proof either for that. Don't worry about it. No. It's all going to be good. We got it under control. We're aggressive. Yeah. Very aggressive. We're bringing business into town. You guys are deranged. Out till lunch. You guys would never make... I'm sorry. Once I joined the military, it changed my perception on the order of operations and what job titles and what duties are for, because our lives depended on it. My ability to do whatever my duty was, my fellow squids and jarheads, well, Marines and other Navy guys, seamen, whatever, we got all kinds of nicknames. But anyhow, we relied on each other. We had to know that the person behind us had our back. We had to know the person to our right, to our left, in front of us, the person above us. If the fire broke out upstairs, when you're 12 decks below, that you got firemen that know what the heck they're doing or know how to sound the alarm. It's life and death, literally. That's why I look at this and it blows my mind. No accountability, deflection. Grow up. I don't care if you're almost 70 years old. You're stealing from the youth. You're stealing from the elderly. You're stealing from the people that are retired. We have people moving here from Connecticut and these other states where taxes are through the roof. They move here thinking that, oh, there's going to be some reprieve. Guess what? You guys are in for a surprise. These clowns over here, give them enough time. You're going to be paying 50% of your check to taxes because they're going to have some glorified pigeon pool. D'arranger, d'arraper, I don't know what you want to call it, but holy fry, grow up. If you can't do the job, just leave, resign, do something. But right now, it's a joke. And the brunt of that joke, they brought it upon themselves last night by saying that they're the ones at fault. The board. The manager hasn't done anything wrong. It's all the board's fault. Nice try. So the manager is supposed to be managing the town. Managing, overseeing the budget, the different departments, crunching numbers. And if the department comes to him and says, hey, we want this, manager goes back and says, sorry, that's not going to work. You got to go back to the drawing board and cut because we can't afford this. We can't afford what it is that you guys want. There was so much irresponsibility that if I'd have had waders on, I still would have drowned in the dung that was there last night. On a different note, the second question that was presented to me about if I knew of any wrongdoing or sexual this or whatever. Look, what people do in their private lives, I don't care. I really don't. But for the board to indirectly but directly ask me if I have something, them knowing that I have no part in that, is apprehensible. It's ridiculous. And all that little show was about was to attempt to discredit me for standing up and saying something because I was asked by individuals that some of them have a hard time speaking in public. Some of them are scared of reprisals. Some of them. The reasons why are irrelevant. That's why it's me there. That's all. I'm not some big whoop-de-doo. No. I'm Aaron Cyr. I'm a father, I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, I'm a son, I'm a friend. whatever. I'm just me. Say same. Not asking for anything. I don't want anything. Because it's not about me. It'll never be about me. But to get there and try to say that I had something to do with another individual's, I'll call them escapades, entertainment, whatever. I'm not responsible for somebody else's opinions, perceptions, beliefs, because my rights end where yours begin, and vice versa. Mutual respect. Okay? To get there and throw cyberbullying, it was obvious that when the chair stepped down and came to give us a poem, it wasn't his writing. I don't mean that to be condescending or belittling and not saying that he's not intelligent enough to write this, okay? I have listened to this individual speak numerous times. I have spoken with the individual numerous times. But that little speech, that little spill that was given, give me a break. For one, when you are a public servant, you have no privacy. None. Every aspect of your life, from when you are 8 years old to present, can be dug up and thrown in your face. All of it. As long as you're not inciting violence, directly or indirectly, at an individual, it's free speech. Hate speech also is covered by free speech. There's a reason why it's called free speech. There's a reason why it's called the First Amendment. So to get there and whine and complain that, the hardship, look, if you can't deal with hardship and being criticized because you're in the public office, don't apply for the job. Really. I was sitting there last night. I didn't want to laugh because it's not something to laugh at. But here we have theatrics going on, okay? Like, it's destroyed families and it's hurting marriages and it's doing this and it's doing that. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, really? I'm not even a public official. I ran for a public office. Okay? You guys want to open the door and pander to sadness and, oh my gosh, my eyes, okay? No. You want theatrics? I was accused of molestation. I was accused of having a spaceship under a lake. I was accused of having a base on the backside of the moon. I was accused of trafficking women and children across the border between the United States and Canada. I was accused of trafficking large quantities of cocaine across the border. I was accused of Homeland Security being afraid of me and they won't talk to me because I'm known as Big Daddy. What was the other one? Oh, I am the Grand Wizard of the KKK because, and it's, the accusation was the reason why my children's names all start with K is that was my way of glorifying the Klan. And I wasn't even a public servant. I just ran as a public servant. I had people message me I had one person tell me that the best investment in a single bullet would have been at my address. I had somebody message me and tell me they had called the state on me, that I was a monster, that if they saw me, they'd punch me in the face. Different individuals. You see me crying? You see me asking for cyberbullying to stop? They had a right to an opinion. I knew that everything that I was accused of wasn't true. So why defend myself against accusations that were just accusations? But people would rather get there and run with emotions, like last night at that meeting. Okay? You know what that did? The individual that wrote that letter to have it read completely flipped the script and made the individuals that are responsible for all of this negativity and this separating of our community and this taxation without representation. I'm going to harp on that because that is the truth. That is the bottom line. That is the fact. That is the proof. The individual who orchestrated that little stand-up comedy show used another individual's First Amendment right, flipped it on its head, and made the individuals responsible for screwing us all over the victims. That's what happened. Did you see me stand up and read a little thing or type something up? No. I understood where the individual was coming from that said what they had to say. I didn't agree with it. I didn't understand it in its entirety. I still don't. But I still love that person. I would still stop and help them. But I didn't deflect. And because I didn't defend myself, I was guilty, according to public, whatever you want to call it. Whether if I would have defended myself or not defended myself, I was guilty, is how they were looking at it. Those that chose to look at it. And I wasn't even a public servant. These clowns, they are. Every little thing about them, you guys can pick apart. You see one of them pulled over on the side of the road doing a sobriety test, you can record it, live stream it. There's no privacy. You step into the limelight of public service, there's no privacy. It's one of the things that comes with the job. So, you want to talk about cyberbullying and what? Oh my God, come on, man. Grow a pair. Oh my, what? There was a little kid, this little boy, and he used to whine all the time, and his mom used to call him Wainu. And there's times I see grown men, and I'm like, a Wainu, a real Wainu, like somebody who just doesn't know when to shut up. Just whining about everything all the time, rather than stepping up and doing something about it. Stop grabbing onto somebody else's coattails because you can't get enough lift under your own wings. Create your own lift. Fly yourself. Stop dragging on other people. Freaking joke. Anyhow, where we're at right now is there's one more petition out there. And there is that much that the board can do about it. They want me to come, not them as the board, but I've been asked. See, for some odd reason, those that want to put up the white flag, okay, they want me to come and you could help bring this and resolve this issue and be like the media. No. I'll tell you right now, I will never, ever, mark my words, I will never betray those who ask me to do something. Come hell or high water, I will stick it through. Now, with that said, if there is an understanding or something that can demonstrate to me to change my perspective or to be able to convey to those who have asked me to do something, that I can bring back and demonstrate to them, not me, to them, I will do that. But don't ask me to betray those who have asked me to stand for them. I will never be bought. I won't be. So you guys that are asking me to be, not you guys as the ones that are talking to me and messaging me and giving me information, okay? Keep doing that. The ones I'm talking to are the ones behind that table. The way that the communication went last night, okay, I understand being backed up in a corner and this and that, okay? I saw the emotion. It's like I wrote, okay? When I talk with someone, I look at their body language, I look at their mouth, I look at their eyes, I look at their forehead, I look at their ears, I look at the shoulders, I look at the throat. I'm perceptive because I know how to approach that individual. I know what to say and not say. Not 100% of the time, but it's something that I learned over the years of dealing with public. And the way that I was cornered last night, I don't care. You can corner me. You guys can all see on the recording. Did I bite back? Did I snap back? No. Say what you want. To the point where I was indirectly blamed for somebody else's multimedia frenzy. You can say what you want. You can do what you want. But, like I said, I dot my I's, I cross my T's. Because when the ball starts rolling, it ain't stopping. So you want to come to the table, the proverbial table, get out from behind yours. If you think I'm going to go see you and talk to you to come to some sort of understanding or agreement, you're mistaken. Because right now, those that sit behind that table and in that office, you're the opposition. You're the reason why this discourse is, this whole thing is happening, is because of your lack of leadership, your lack of foresight, your lack of a whole bunch of things. I'm not criticizing you as a father or a grandfather or a brother. No. It had nothing to do with you as an individual, living, breathing, none of that. It's the seat that you're sitting in. It's the position, it's the title that you hide behind and you forget who you are. That's what I have a problem with. You expect us to see you in town at the grocery store and, hello, how's it going? When you guys can't even manage the town? Come on, man. You guys are dividing. You're dividing the community. I'm not dividing the community. The community asked me to be a voice for their concerns. You want to come at me? Go for it. That's fine. But I'll tell you what. You guys want to play hardball? That's fine. I said it last time and I'm going to say it again. But this time I'm going to add to it. Your seats have terms. The mentality has a term. Because this platform here, this way of communicating, guess what? The little shenanigans and everything there, status quo, and we're going to have this one run again so we can keep this going, and this one knows about this deal here and that one knows about that deal there, so hey, we're going to have somebody who's been on the board I don't know how many flipping times. Your days, your mentality, your grand plan, all of that, guess what? Pineapple. 2 seats coming up at primaries. I guarantee you, hands down, this little monkey show that you guys have going, this little dog and pony show, as we call it in the military, is done. You guys want to get there and play games with us, sitting behind that board and blaming this one and that one, whatever. We have young people in this town right here, right now, that are watching you guys, going back and looking at old videos and finding discrepancies, that there were monies that were supposed to be put aside so this stuff wouldn't happen. And while you guys are there borrowing money from our savings to offset tax expenses because you can't balance a flipping budget, it's going to end. Oh yeah. Your little stranglehold, chokehold on this town is going to come to an end. And you guys better hope and pray that these ones that are coming in don't decide to do some investigations. Because just keep this in mind, you board members that are no longer there, that made some pretty questionable decisions. You're still legally held for those decisions. It ain't blackmail. It's the law. So if you knowingly did something that wasn't right, that was illegal, you can still be held accountable for it to this day. Could have been 10 years ago, could have been 15 years ago. You guys got too arrogant, too big for your britches. And just to let you know, in closing, nah, I want to wait. Well, there's an ace. I'll put it to you that way. Because right now the board has no cards. They're in up to their neck in debt, trying to cover their tracks. That's why they can't give us numbers. They don't even know what they are themselves. But we have cards. We the people have cards. And we do have a voice. That's it for today. Thank you.